So welcome back to返學 DSE chapter 17. In this chapter, we will talk about skeleton. For skeleton, there will be generally two types. One is called the bones, and another one is called the cartilage. And the example will be as shown in here, the 豬骨 and also 豬軟骨 and 蟹 and 軟殼蟹, something like that. So for bones, it is a living tissue. It contains of many minerals, mainly calcium phosphate, and it also contains protein, water, and other materials, and there will be generally two regions in it. It is the compact bone and also the spongy bones. And for the compact bone, it is the outer layer of your bones, and it is dense and hard to provide the maximum strength and supporting to your body weight. While for the spongy bones, it is the inner part of your bone, and it is composed of the red bone marrow, and it is porous, which means it has a lot of pores, a lot of holes. It is to provide the strength while it's minimizing the additional weight. And within the skeleton, there are also nerves and blood, and the second type will be the cartilage. For the cartilage, it is also living cells, and it contains less minerals. That's why it is softer and also more elastic. The major function is to reduce the friction between bones, and also because the cartilage will rip against each other. That's why no blood vessels and nerves will be inside, and it is responsible for the shape and support of some structures like our nose and ear. And for the organization, there will be the exoskeleton. This is composed of the skull, rib cage, and also vertebral column. Remember, this is the vertebral column, not the spinal cord. The spinal cord is protected by the vertebral column. And for the appendical skeleton, it contains of the limb bones and also girdles, and it's allowing the movement. And for the skull, it is a fusion of the eight bones is to protect the brain, including the cerebrum, cerebellum, and also medulla oblongata. And for the vertebral column, it contains of 33 vertebrae and is to support the weight of your upper body. And it is naturally S-shaped as a spring to absorb the shock. However, a lot of students are using C-shaped vertebral column as they lie on their table, and also they are bending their body into some unfamiliar situation. And you are always kindly reminded that your vertebral column will be with you till the end of your day. So I will strongly recommend you to protect your own vertebral column. And the vertebral column will consist of the vertebra, which is allowing the muscle attached to it and also to protect the spinal cord. And between the vertebra, there will be the intervertebral disc, and it is the cartilage which allows bending of your vertebral column, and it also serves as a shock absorber. And for the rib cage, it contains of 12 pair of ribs, and they are joined in the stratum with the cartilage. It is to protect the lung and heart, and not the liver, because it's a little bit lower. And it is to help to bring about the breathing action, and this is in your Form 4 curriculum. And for the limb bone, we have the forearm and the whole limb, and also for the girdle, we have the shoulder and also the hip. For this technical term, if you have RAM in memory in your brain, you can do it, but if you don't, so just leave it. As long as you remember the limb bone is your hands and legs, and also for the girdle, you will find it in the shoulder and also hip. And here are some functions of your skeleton. It is to protect your organs, and it is support your body weight and allow movement, and producing the blood cell, because the red bone marrows in your spongy bones are responsible for the production of your red blood cell, and for calcium and also the lipid, they are stored also in your bone. And to allow movement, we need some joints. For the joints, there are some general structures like the ligament, cartilage, fibrous capsules, and also synovial membrane. And for the ligament, it is to hold the bones in the correct position, preventing dislocation, letdown, and it is elastic, which allows some movement. And for the cartilage, which is similar to the previous discussed, it is to absorb shock and to reduce friction and prevent the bones from wearing. And for the fibrous capsule is to enclose the joint. And for the synovial membrane, it secretes the synovial fluid, which serves as a lubricant to reduce friction and nourish the cartilage cells. And there will be two types of bones in our curriculum. One is called the hinge joint bone, which is our elbow joint, allowing the one-plane movement. And for the ball and socket joint, it allows the movement in many planes, and it is found in the shoulder or your hip. For the skeletal muscle is to bring about the movement. When it is attached to the bone, we need a tendon, and these skeletal muscles are usually striated muscle because they are light band and also dark band. But for the greater details, is no longer required in your curriculum. And for your body balance, your tendon is responsible to transmit the pulling force from the muscle to your bones. And in order to do so, it is inelastic. That's why in our common Cantonese discussion, the term line gun is actually doesn't make any sense in biology. And for the importance of tendons is to reduce the size. The best example will be your hand. Your hand is actually full of tendon instead of muscles. Otherwise, your hand will be too big. And the muscles are usually work in pairs. They are the flexor and also the extensor. Flexor is for contraction, while the extensor is for extension. There's a straightening. And because they are opposite to each other, we have a technical term called antagonistic. And in the 2008 DSE Chinese paper, there is a term called 見鬼麥 O 嘴潛水炮屈機, which is exactly the same speaking of the what gay in here. However, it is becoming our proper exam myth in our regular teaching. If you want to know more about it, I strongly recommend you to find your Chinese teacher. And this is how the muscle is contracted. Actually, your nerves will control it and through the neuromuscular junction. And once the nerve impulse arrives there, the neurotransmitter will be released and it will generate the electrical impulse in your muscle. So here is the extract of your HAEAA document. In the document, you're required to understand what is the skeleton, muscle, joints, tendon, and also ligament. Remember the tendons and ligaments. For the tendons, it is inelastic, while ligament is elastic. And for joints, we have two types of joint. One is the ball and socket joint, and another one is the hinge joint. So as stated in here. And we should also notice that the muscles are opposite to each other. They work as a pair. This is called the antagonistic. That's why we have the flexor and the extensor. In your reference book, there are a lot of nice pictures stating that how the muscles are working in pairs in order to bring about the motions. I strongly recommend you guys to study those figures in a greater details. And for the initiation of muscles and the nerves, the nature is similar. That is, the nerve impulse once arrive at the synapse or the connecting region, there is the neuromuscular junction. The neurotransmitter will be released and then the muscle will contract. So this will be the end of chapter 17 intensive revision with videos, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.